Little round cafe tables are an icon of European style. We've all seen the romantic images of people sitting outside cafes in France, sipping their little cappuccinos, or Italy or Spain. If you find yourself longing for those moments, those iconic moments, but your reality is a cluttered breakfast nook, I have been there. Let me show you today how I created an iconic European cafe corner in my kitchen with just 2 thrifted chairs and a 25-year-old table I found on clearance. In Europe, small round cafe tables are everywhere. They're romantic, personal, and make even a quick cup of coffee feel like a ritual. Instead of a huge dining table you only use for holidays, a cafe table gives you an intimate moment, whether it's by a window, in a corner, or even on your porch. I found this one on clearance at the Anthropology in Chicago about 20 years ago. It was scratched up and the top was falling apart, but it had good bones, a round top, a great solid base, no wobble. Quick tip, if you're looking for these, search for bistro table, round pedestal, or small dining on Facebook Marketplace or similar. Prioritize the shape and the structure because you can fix the finish. And target porch furniture. It's often cheaper. This is actually meant to be an outdoor table, but it works just great. I'd actually stopped using this table and it was sitting in our basement getting really grungy. And then when I was looking for a cafe table, I dragged it up out of the basement and it was getting a little wobbly at that point, so I added some bun feet that I bought off of Amazon. All I did was clean it and take off the parts of the top that were falling off and then paint it with Parisian patina paint by Sherwin-Williams, which is one of my favorite colors. No primer, no drama. I just put a little clear wax coat over the top and now it has maximum durability and in my kitchen. You can totally do this in a weekend with no fancy tools and no stress. For a while I had it paired with some rush seat cafe chairs. But more recently, I have found some metal chairs which are sturdier and are holding up better in the kitchen. The rush seat chairs actually fell apart, but I had them for a really long time. So I really like these metal ones, though. They're a little too high for the table, but it's a really nice perch anyways, and it's not that big of a deal. I kind of like how it looks not quite perfect. I don't know if that sounds crazy or not. I like to style this table different ways. This little lamp lives in my kitchen. Sometimes I move it over to the table, like if I'm reading or just because I think it looks nice. And I just love to sit here and drink a cup of coffee or a glass of water or something like that. My kids really like to sit here in the morning too. It's like a coveted area in our house. So I think it looks great with a little light. I've got a picture by Vincent van Gogh of an actual cafe just to kind of add to the ambiance. Sometimes I'll sit here and stare at the picture of the real cafe and just pretend that I'm there. This table actually looks a lot like the little tables in this painting by Vincent van Gogh, which I think is kind of interesting. You don't need a full kitchen makeover to feel like you're in France. Sometimes all it takes is one small table and a shift in how you start your day. My mornings at this little corner with my coffee feel like a moment and not like chaos. And maybe some of it is my own imagination, but having the table and deliberately copying a corner of a Parisian cafe definitely helps. I'm so obsessed with iconic pieces like this because there's something magnetic about objects that have earned their place in our collective cultural memory. And the French cafe table is the perfect example. When I look at this table, I don't just see furniture. I see centuries of Parisian mornings, writers scribbling in notebooks, friends lingering over coffee, that entire romantic mythology of French cafe culture that we all carry in our heads. Or at least I do. By bringing this into my home, I'm not just decorating, I'm connecting to that story and that larger narrative. And here's the thing, I'm clearly not alone in this. Just last week, I was reading the Wall Street Journal and came across this article about people who completely recreated the look of their favorite Paris bar right in their own living room. I mean, talk about commitment to the aesthetic. Now, I've been doing this kind of thing for years, way before I saw that article. But it just proves there's something universal about this desire to surround ourselves with iconic pieces. The French cafe table has this incredible visual shorthand for sophistication and timelessness. It's survived decades, even centuries, because it got something fundamentally right about form meeting functions. The proportions and the materials and that effortless elegance, it all just works somehow. So here's my own little Parisian moment. Sometimes I even style it with a checked tablecloth, which is an icon in its own right that we could totally get into in another video. And sometimes I just put a little vase of flowers on it. Sometimes I get out an espresso cup and deliberately have an espresso, or sometimes I drink a citron pressé, which is just water with a little lemon. What I love most is it's not about copying a look, it's about tapping into that proven aesthetic DNA. When something becomes truly iconic, it's because it's been tested by time and found perfect. There's a confidence that comes with that, and a sense that you're making a choice that connects you to something bigger than your own personal taste. The cafe table brings that whole European sensibility of savoring moments, of making the everyday feel a little more special. And honestly, in a world that moves so fast, having a space that encourages you to slow down and appreciate the simple pleasure of a good cup of coffee feels really good. I'd love to hear how you bring iconic pieces into your own space. Drop a comment below and let me know what iconic object has completely transformed your home. Speaking of bringing iconic looks home, if you're feeling inspired to create your own European style spaces, I've got something perfect for you. I've put together my Iconic Home Starter Kit that shows you exactly how to get 5 stunning iconic European looks in your home using thrifted finds. All the looks that make your heart skip a beat, all achievable on a budget. The link is in the description below and it's completely free. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week when we're diving into another piece that's earned its place in design history. Take care. Bye for now.